and very crouched. NRL after unchanged in the front and
averaging 24 tackles.
And whistle blow to right for the opening 40. We're underway, round 13 here at Parramatta Stadium. Adam Peake, originally named in the Premier League, first man up, and his partner in crime in the front row, Kylie Lulawai, who was good from the bench last week against the Bunnies.
Well, you can just imagine what Brian Smith would have sent Parramatta out with. First of all, he would have said, make sure we make no mistakes early, that's the key.
Incredible conditions down here in the national capital, only a short trip away to the snow. There's been the hint of some. It is freezing as Parramatta work their way up towards the 40-metre line. Michael Witt, ball in hand. First kick downfield, that is Jamal Alessi fielding it nicely. One thing Parramatta cannot do over the course of the next 80 minutes is afford the Canberra back through the opportunity at space.
No, they're very dangerous, the Canberra back three. You've got Clint Schifosky, probably one of the best ball runners in the game at the moment, and plenty of speed out wide with Phil Graham and Michael Robinson.
DeVico, tackled well by Tracy. Wagon in there with the assist. They go to the right through McLinden at half. O'Hara jammed by Johnny Morris. Top tackler for the Eels in 2003. DeVico pops a ball out the back, not to Stephen Clark's liking. And on tackle number 4, they will go down with the first scrum of the match.
Play, so no hesitation to pull it up.
The Eels searching too wide. That is Ashley Graham. Again, they opt to the blind side. Willie Tonga in jersey number 3. Scored 2 tries in the Premier League victory last week. Adam Peake.
Yeah, welcome to the top side. You can bet this Canberra Raiders pack is probably their best one on paper. We'll be looking to gain some dominance. If they can't get some dominance over Parramatta, it's going to be a long night for the Green Machine.
The Eels, good at field position. To their captain, Daniel Wagon. Tackled on the 5th, 25 metres out. Up she goes across field. Ronald Prince is there, so too Tonga for the Parramatta Eels.
Lost on, Parramatta, handover.
A handover on the 5th and final.
Great chase by the Parramatta Eels. They came, well, just about at the same time as the ball got near Schifosky, and that's what you want to do as a chasing team. Put the catcher under a little bit of pressure, make him, well, put him in 2 thoughts of mind, and that's exactly what they did then.
Canberra having their second best start to a season in the club's history, and is almost unimaginable as DeVico charges to the line to think that the competition leaders have no representation in Wednesday night's opening State of Origin match. They opt for the blind side.
Gee, an easy meterage now by the forwards of the Green Machine.
Wolford to McLinden. Drives a low trajectory kick down to Ashley Graham, who fielded it on the first hop and has met in a very solid tackle. Jason Croker combining well with Jamal Alessi on the Canberra left-hand side. Structured but simple football from the Raiders.
Yeah, that's what they're good at, and they rely on their forward pack to make those easy metres. That's the strength of the Canberra Raiders this year. Their forward pack, it's got a real good solid look about it, making plenty of metres and then a good kick on the end of it.
Yeah, you're right, Brandy. What they've done already, they're out of combination, out of routine this Parramatta side. Their bunch, their structure is already gone, which is kind of crazy this early in the match.
A nice long kick. Positioned perfectly, Schifosky. In season 2003, we've become to expect nothing less. Tackled by Peterson and Wagon. That's Michael Robinson. The match winner last weekend against Cronulla in the dying minutes. Our profile player, Ruben Wiki.
Parramatta playing a very compressed defence. There's some space out wide if the Raiders want to move it.
To the left-hand side they go on the inside. Jamal Alessi. The Parramatta defence has opened up and the Raiders are there en masse.
Great tackle.
McLinden absolutely nailed, and there is again numbers to the right. A poor ball goes in front of Wiki. It is picked up by Joel Monahan. Wrestled to the ground by 3 Parramatta Eels. This is tackle 5, their final option. Up she goes, again across field. Tyron Smith will out-leap the pack. Luke DeVico left to pick up the scraps at the back, the front rower. As their option player, it is hot potato stuff from the Canberra Raiders, and the most unlikely of kickers, Ryan O'Hara. And I guess that's the result you get with a front rower.
Oh, cut that foot off instantly. He'll be told not to kick again. That's for sure. But Parramatta now a chance to work their way out.
Luluai. A condensed line from the Canberra Raiders in this early minutes. Adam Peake, who has been busy in his first opportunity in the top grade this season. That was hit up number 4. The Raiders limiting the Eels' numbers as far as metres go up the centre. That Luluai again. To the left-hand side, and Michael Witt finds some open room here at Canberra Stadium. The ball bouncing just inside the sideline, and a good territorial gain from the Parramatta halfback.
Something the Eels won't mind either, just getting a breather, getting themselves set. And very close to finding the touchline.
Last week's win.
Ball's out!
Out for the blind side. Looking to expose a Parramatta weakness they were unable to. Matthew Peterson, the tackler. DeVico, in his tradesman-like style, has been busy.
Yeah, already 8 hit-ups by DeVico.
Wiki. Charging into the Parramatta line. Driven back a metre at the end of it by John Morris. Plays it on the 40. This is tackle number 3. Shafovsky wrapped up with the ball. DeVico again. Hard and straight, this Canberra attacking outfit, extremely bunched around the ruck. Their opportunities either side somewhat limited on this the last. Croker will find the line. The ball beating Jamal Alessi into touch. Both sides battling for field position in the opening 7.5 minutes here at Canberra Stadium. The two sides met in round 5 earlier this year. And it was the Raiders victorious to the tune of 36 points to 22.
Outside, inside leg back. Out!
Parramatta winning the scrum. Johnny Morris again playing the role of 5'8". He did that last week despite being named at hooker in the absence of Adam Dykes. Dykes again succumbing to a back injury. That's better metres from the Parramatta Eel. Darren Tracy, only a couple of games back from an early retirement, trying to milk the penalty.
And with John Morris standing out at 5'8", we've got Lee Hopkins playing the role as a dummy half tonight.
Again it goes to Morris. Shafovsky looked like he was going to shadow the ball over the line, thinks better of it, and is eventually met ultimately by a pretty determined and enthusiastic Parramatta line. The Raiders, for the second time in this match, forced to work their way out from their own red zone. It's something they have done very well so far in 2003. Left-hand side, 2 balls wide to Ian Hindmarsh, himself a former Parramatta Eel. 1 of 4 in this Canberra outfit. Croker, some second phase football. The most cap Raider almost finding a space.
Darren, please, let me finish. Ample time to get up. You're trying to milk the penalty. You grabbed his leg, all right? You're lucky I didn't penalise you. Come on, mate. We've all been around long enough to know that's not on. Okay, let's get it out.
Back in Canberra downfield and into their best field position of the match. O'Hara! Unlucky not to make the Blues origin side. DeVico will be next. He is. The front rowers sidestep, straight and hard. Simon Woolford, a dummy half. McLinden has the back line set to the right and deep. A nice second man cutout ball. Monahan, himself only a couple of games back from injury. That's tackle 3. Wiki, hard to stop from close range. 10 minutes into the clash, the Raiders looking for first points. A second man ball to McLinden. Shafovsky the cutout. The ball ends up centimetres from the sideline and turning defence into attack, the Parramatta Eels through Tonga.
A fairly ordinary attack by the Canberra Raiders then. They got down in a good field position and then gave themselves no depth. DeVico was off this flat run all the time, and then when they tried to go wide, the passes just wouldn't stick. They've got to just consolidate a bit in this first half, the Canberra Raiders, make no mistakes and keep Parramatta under pressure down their own end.
Both sides almost literally playing a 7-man running forward game as the Eels head towards halfway. That is Tracy. Looking to bust the advantage line, he doesn't, finds Crouch. Good second phase football and good metres from the Parramatta Eels. Hopkins from dummy half put boot to ball. A good Parramatta chase against Shafovsky is there. As far as the territorial battle goes, Greg, it seems at this stage Parramatta gaining the ascendancy.
Yeah, well, they are working well, Parramatta, but I do think that the Raiders are making more ground when they have got the ball for 6 tackles. But the Eels are working all right, and with so many changes in the side, you'd think that they'll find it hard just to find their feet early in the game.
DeVico. Hit up number 8. Parramatta. You can see statistically with a clear advantage as far as territorial goes. Back to McLinden, inside his 40. It will skid on the slippery Canberra turf. Not the couple of extra metres they would have so dearly loved. Ronald Prince very casually watching it go into touch.
Wait, hang on. Come on, Luke. Hey.
No doubt Matthew Elliott liked the look of the Raiders last week with Mark McLinden at halfback for the final 20 minutes.
Back down Parramatta's end of the field, and temper's a little testy out there in the middle amongst the big men as Morris scoots from dummy half to the blind side from an advantage of a couple of metres. Peterson, who bagged 4 and whose confidence is high.
We're talking about confidence, Parramatta confidence soaring. The longer they can keep the Raiders away from their try line and stay in this game, the more their confidence will grow. And we can see it now. Every time their forwards take the ball up, there's an extra couple of yards and extra effort by Parramatta.
It goes to Witt, who again skies it. A lot of work for Lalessi. Ronald Prince positioned himself well. Dean Witters with a second kick on the football. Mark McLinden, I think, perhaps
put it out.
Witt from the scrum base. Morris one wide. And Ashley Graham on the outside, opted to go himself. Again they go to the left. Through their captain Daniel Wagon. That is tackle number 2. Trying to bullock over. Daniel Heckenberg. Aggressive Canberra defence. Again to Witt. An inside ball to Stephen Crouch. The defence catching him nicely, reading the play well as Hopkins darts from dummy half. A second-man ball to Violecki. Peterson bagged 4 last week and collects the Eels first tonight. Those points will be awarded to Michael Witt from out wide, struck it nicely. Coming back, just not enough. Underway for the second phase of football here, and it'll be Daniel Heckenberg charging into the green line. Was originally named in the starting side with Michael Vella at prop. Vella pulled out with an abdomen muscle injury. Heckenberg put onto the bench. Dean Witters from dummy half.
I've got to say, there's still not a lot of sting in the Raiders' defence. They've got a fair bit of work to do to hurt this Parramatta. Parramatta are full of running. They want the football. That just gives you an indication of just how tough it really is out there, the defence I'm talking about.
Certainly running with some depth for Parramatta forwards. They go to Witt. The Eels with a little bit of confidence. Again, Shafovsky, perfectly positioned at the back. Starts the crab across field. Is met well. The kicker, the first man down there.
Well, they're always kicking to Shafovsky's right-hand side. Obviously, they don't want to kick to Jamal, the lefty side. He's a bit of a quicker runner, so they're going to Robertson's side with Shafovsky, and he's just not getting back to supporting, leaving Shafovsky by himself, so no damage done yet by Shafovsky.
Ian Hindmarsh tackled, the new man on, Sean Ruckerson. Wolford to DeVico. Fabulous numbers for the statue. Hit up number 9 to McLinden. Looked for the long kick, opted for the short one. It has not paid dividends for the Raiders. The Parramatta Eels.
Good pressure by the Eels defence.
Violecki. Second phase football. Stephen Crouch tackled right on halfway. Almost to the quarter point of this game. Darren Tracy, who just 5 weeks ago was happy in retirement, owning a pub in the Hunter region. Dean Witters on the right-hand side. A handful. Willie Tonga eventually tackled. They are 19 metres out. This is the fourth. Witt, a long ball. Finding Graham. Back to Violecki. Looked to get the ball out the back. The Canberra defence was there in numbers. It goes to Witt on this, the final. Across field they go. Ronald Prince is there. So too Lalesi, who flew above the pack. Beautifully diffused by the Canberra wing three-quarter.
Never took his eye off the ball. Class taken. Here he goes again. Wants to get involved, Lalesi.
Hindmarsh there as the decoy. Phil Graham, the centre, taking a little bit of the workload off some of the bigger men, and a ruck up himself, Shafovsky. Two of the backs in successive hit-ups. They go to McLinden just over the 40-metre line. Giving it to Matt Peterson, who could do anything tonight. He is on cloud 9 and collared a little high.
A decision by the referee. Got what it deserved.
Parramatta with the penalty and an advantage of some 20 metres with their kick to touch. The inside dummy. It ends up with Michael Witt. One further to Darren Tracy, who's looking for some outside men. Tracy has been damaging for the Parramatta Eels. Somewhat out of breath, I think, the big man. Not used to the intensity that the NRL has played at this season. Inside ball to Daniel Wagon. Taken to ground by Tyron Smith. Former teammate Ian Hindmarsh there too. Lee Hopkins searching up the middle. This is tackle number 5. Witters, the ball playing back rower. Chips through, the race is on. And the kick marginally long. Ronald Prince, a late call-up, extremely close to this one. Witters read it well, just a little bit too much on it.
Well, it's been all Parramatta the last 10 minutes. They really have started to dominate possession. Darren Tracy leaves the field.
And a horrendous mistake by the Raiders. The Eels not jumping on the ball, opting to try and put it on the toe. So relief for Canberra. And from one side of the field to the other, Michael Robertson. He covered just as many metres laterally as he did in the forward motion, but a good run by the winger, Wiki. Ball out the back from Wolford. One further to Hindmarsh. The boy from Robinson is eventually stopped. Penalty Raiders. Shafovsky taking the quick option.
Never made the 10. Never made the 10.
Oh. 3 in a row from Parramatta.
I'm not kidding, he kicked the ball. No way. No, went backwards.
Basically handing the Raiders 2 points. But they opt to keep the ball in hand. Rutgerson. A bold move, a gamble perhaps. Will it pay off? Wiki. One at the line. Wolford loses his footing. Gains control of the football. Again, they look to the left through McLinden. An inside ball to Tyron Smith. Wolford. Decoy runner. Shafovsky is there. An inside ball. Ian Hindmarsh making it. A challenge at the line. Brought down a metre out. Another penalty.
No, weren't straight. Weren't straight.
Well,
Mark,
maybe,
turn straight.
maybe the referee's got to think about some sin binning very soon. 4 penalties in succession.
Again, the Raiders opt for the try. Tyron Smith running off the left hip of Mick Linden. The bookman with the ball in hand now. A knock on either way.
Canberra, knock forward.
What a tough call on the Raiders.
They had a couple of opportunities to take a gift 2 points. We said it was a gamble, and that gamble hasn't paid off.
Here it is again.
McClendon out of dummy half. Gee, I thought Solomona got a hand to it first.
Perhaps hard done by the Canberra Raiders as Tonga looks to take a little bit of pressure off some of his big men. Violecki. Back to Crouch, the former West Tiger. So quickly the tempo of the game changes. Minutes ago at the other end of the park it was all Parramatta as Ruben Wiki gets a well-earned rest. David Solomona, though, has been thrown into action by coach Brian Smith. Daniel Heckenberg carts the ball up there, almost at the halfway line on this the last. From dummy half, perhaps it looked like Hopkins didn't realise it was the last. An awkward bounce for the Canberra Raiders, and Dean Witters looking to
That's 6, change over.
toss it out the back. He couldn't get that right arm free. As Brad Drew enters action and sees the football for the first time tonight.
Skinniest 10 metres I've seen so far. The referee has kept them apart, and that's why the game has been, well, relatively close. Both sides have had a chance. The referee's got a good 10 metres.
Terry Martin plays the ball. Nice solid tackle on Sean Rutgerson. 42 metres out from the try line. Parramatta lead, 4 points to 0. Here at Canberra Stadium, the temperature has dropped to a very chilly 7 degrees. Another penalty.
David Solomona.
Stephen Clark is going to lose his patience with the Eels.
You keep it zip. Let's just all calm down. That's it. Just wait.
Stephen
Wait.
Crouch.
Mark, do yourself a favour. Just calm down, all right? Just cool it. We're all just going to keep it calm. Just wait. It was a professional foul. He's going to the bin.
Crouch has been marched. The penalty count 6-1 in favour of the Raiders, who again dismiss the gift 2 points. They are looking for 6.
Well, so they should. They're only up against 12 players now. They'll never have a better chance, the Raiders, to post some points.
To the left-hand side, Jason Croker, another knock-on from the Raiders, and again it's David Solomona relieving the pressure.
Again, the Raiders get themselves into trouble. They're really not moving the defence around before they start to go wide and attack the edges. That's where they're getting in trouble. They're not making those easy metres. They're not making the defence work around.
Well, they're getting down that end of the field. They're doing the hard work to get down there. And as soon as they get down that end of the field, they stop all the hard work. There's nothing doing. They just think it's going to come. It doesn't come. You've got to work at it, this game of rugby league.
The penalties most certainly in favour of Canberra, but the error rate is against the Raiders at this stage. Daniel Wagon, the Eels captain, tackled 39 metres out. An expansive game of football it has been. Witt left with no other option to go himself. He loses his footing, and their option man is taken out on the final play. Up she goes from Johnny Morris, and it is a monster for Schifofsky, who makes a mistake. The Parramatta Eels. Lee Hopkins tripped at the crucial moment. The Eels are over the line. Can they get it down? A drop ball. Was it stolen? And it has been a game of missed opportunities. That on the first tackle.
Absolutely out of jail. You don't see Clinton Schifofsky miss sitters like that. Was a great bomb by Morris. And then the defence by the Raiders. Wow, sensational.
Hold here, David. Hold, David.
Tyron Smith again up the blind side. Now let's hit up number 7. Rutgerson with a well-earned break. Mick Linden. A beautiful cut-out ball. Well picked up by Monahan. Unable to find the man on the outside, Michael Robertson. McLinden, explosive off the mark, finds Drew. Drew is cut through the middle. An opportunity for the Raiders and another drop ball. Scrummaging lessons from referee Stephen Clark for the boys. Ashley Graham, originally named on the right wing, is playing at fullback. This is the centre, David Violecki, who was one of several Parramatta Eels. Sent back to Premier League a couple of weeks ago by Brian Smith. David Solomona, another one of them. A loose ball to Violecki, who did well to pick it up. He is taken by his opposite number, Monahan. Solomona again. It goes to Michael Witt. Dummies through the first. A short grubber from the halfback. The race is on. A rebound. It is still the last. Heckenberg with the kick. Peterson caught out of position. Eventually diffused by Michael Robertson. Very little structure in this game of football, but many an opportunity.
Oh, great vision by Witt, then the halfback for Parramatta. Little grubber through. Jamal Alessi saved the day when he put his body on the line, but gee, creative thinking by Witt.
Simon Woolford up the centre of the ruck. As we approach the half-an-hour mark of this round 13 clash, an inside ball. On tackle 4, this is the last. Brad Drew almost caught by Dunley at acting half. And Ashley Graham and Matt Peterson at the back, forced to find what eventually was a pretty good kick from the Raiders. Peterson out of dummy half. He finds Violecki. The two have formed a pretty good combination on the left-hand side for the Eels in recent weeks. Lee Hopkins, who a fortnight ago was very much the villain in the Eels' last-minute loss to the Melbourne Storm. What has been a disastrous start to the year for the famous club. Witt, who showed a lot of variation in his kicking game tonight. For the first time they kick down to this side, the left-hand side of Shafovsky. Beats the first, is tackled by Morris, wrestled well. Play on, says referee Clark, and Shafovsky will steal another 9 metres. Croker from dummy half. Plenty of hands on hips from the Raiders' big men in back play. Alessi in a dummy half to Drew. One wider to Martin, who himself has had an injury-marred season. Back to Martin from Drew, not expecting the football. Not a lot of cohesion from the Raiders. They are making metres up the middle. That is Ruben Wiki, and this is the last. They go to the blind side. Was it the right option? Perhaps it was. They have made yet another break. The support couldn't be found anywhere. Somehow, Simon Woolford has ended up with the ball and scored the Raiders' first try. It certainly wasn't pretty, but the reward is the same.
What about that try to Simon Woolford? Out of the blue, great break coming early. They get down the short side. Woolford is there. And here's the run that sets it up. And that is number 18, Michael Hodgson. This is the scary thing. He just toes it. He wants to play the football match. Gets down with the ball, turns his body to the side like he's supposed to do, covers it up and just claims it.
Well, the area of the game that the Raiders aren't struggling, that's making metres. And on the back of 2 good runs, Ruben Wiki before Michael Hodgson made plenty of metres. A yawning gap for the big front rower. Got the ball away to his cap.
And the Raiders hit the lead. Not the kick or strike Shafovsky would have liked. Between the posts it went. Underway we go again. Canberra forced out of their own area, and Hodgson, the man that missed a golden opportunity 4 minutes ago but created one 2 minutes ago for Canberra's lead. Terry Martin. Team 1 on the ladder versus Team 14, and some expansive footy from Brad Drew pays off with Jamal Alessi. Then Jason Croker. Tyron Smith is on the inside, but Croker goes one-on-one with Ashley Graham, and the Eel wins that battle. Wiki The Parramatta line is set well. That is tackle number 4. Plenty on the blind side. Tyron Smith will be hard to stop. In fact, impossible. In successive sets of 6, the Raiders have
allowed themselves just 10 metres on that blind side, right where they are now. Just too many numbers. And gee, unstoppable Big Tyron. It puts the common spin on and just comes out of it, slams it down. And in a space of just a couple of minutes, they've jumped well ahead.
Then you talk about the confidence, and that's a confidence play. Brad Drew kicking across field inside his own 20-metre area, across to the
right. An awful looking kick, but straight between the posts. We're so used to seeing goal kickers, like we are with Tiger Woods, hooking the ball round nicely.
I'll take the awful one any day.
Yes. Striking it like a C-grade hacker on a Wednesday competition. At golf, Clinton Shafovsky has found a formula that works. You can see the look on the Parramatta faces. There's one that pretty much sums up the opening 40 minutes. Hodgson again, first man from the kickoff. Look for Terry Martin. The reserves combining well. A big bench, this Canberra Raiders side. Smith, Rutgerson, Martin and Hodgson. Brad Drew starting the evening, watching from the sidelines. His introduction has been timely. Wolford from dummy half, an inside ball to Hodgson. He finds Shafovsky. The former Eels combining well. It goes back to Drew, out to Jason Croker. There is space for the Raiders again. Croker puts boot to ball. Mark McLinden is there, but beating him to the ball was Matt Peterson. From dummy half, finds Shafovsky. Always dangerous at this end of the field, looking to slip the ball out the back. He does to his captain. Misses out the 2 big men. It ends up with Phil Graham wide. Tackled by Tonga. Tackle number 3 it is. Drew. McLinden. They opt for the air. Peterson is there. So too the Raiders. Monahan. We're going to the video, but I think it's the Raiders' third.
Check the onside and then check the grounding of the football, please.
It was David versus Monahan and Michael Robinson. Big men.
Both players very good under the ball in attack and defence. Mark McLinden sees that Peterson's out there, posted on his own.
Having a look, Robertson or Monahan should I say, time the run to perfection.
Well, I think he has control. There's no doubt that he's onside from the kick. I think the referee's asked for the other angle. I'm sure he's in control of that football. He has it tucked under his chin, held in his right hand. I don't think Peterson has control of it.
At no time did that ball come loose.
There it is. Has it his left hand.
Fabulous 10-minute passage it has been for the home side. Joel Monahan waiting nervously with his 16 teammates all watching the big screen here at Canberra Stadium. Phil Cooley, the man left with the decision. And you can hear from the collective roar around the grandstands. The Raiders now
Run. Joel Monahan able to get up above Matt Peterson, rip it out of his arms and get it down safely.
The Raiders in the last 10 minutes have had some structure to their go forward in the early parts of their tackles. Late in the set, they have chanced their arm, they've tempted fate, and they've been rewarded on each occasion. In stark contrast to the opening 20 minutes when it seemed nothing could go their way. Shafovsky from the other side of the field.
It's all part of the maturing of the Eels, of the Raiders side. Learning how to win under pressure. And that's what they've got to do.
Shafovsky steps in. Blinded by the light. And that run. Oh no!
In front.
The penalty count was 7-1 in favour of Canberra. In the opening 40 minutes, and David Violecki, you know the rules, you break them, you get penalised.
Right.
It is 8 won the penalties, you're not going to win any football matches
No,
like
look,
that.
that is lazy play from David Violecki. At least 2 metres offside. The Parramatta Eels certainly didn't need that sort of start to the second half.
So the game plan would have been a sound defensive set of 6, jam up on Canberra, keep them in their own territory. That has been thrown out the window. The Eels are defending. They're backing onto their own line. Brad Drew to Tyron Smith, looking for a rare double. Has found form in his 7th NRL club, big Tyron Smith. Shafovsky would dearly love to score against his former club. To the right they come through McLinden. Looking for the inside ball, they've spotted a weakness in the Parramatta line. They have numbers to the left. Brad Drew. Another kick. Ronald Prince is out there. So too the Raiders. And a try. After just 75 seconds, Jamal Alessi rewarded on the left hand.
Cutting off the half-time mark in front of the kicker. Just inexcusable from David Violecki. The Canberra Raiders made easy metres up to the 10-metre line. Then Brad Drew another crossfield kick. Kept it low too. And Jamal Alessi right on the spot. And able to carry 3 Parramatta Eels over the line with him.
It was a show of strength once he got the ball in hand, Russell.
Very, very strong, Alessi. I've got to say, though, Brad Drew's inclusion late in that first half and in the second half, master
Worked. Clinton Shafovsky looking for his 3rd of the night. Taking his time, a very short approach to the ball. And why not when it works like that? Shafovsky adds the extras. 18-point advantage over a disappointing Eels. The dugout featuring plenty of names. There's Michael Vella. A late withdrawal from the side due to an abdomen injury. Adam Peake is there, so too Darren Tracy. And I would suggest it won't be too long before those 2 men see action. No indiscretions from the kickoff. Michael Hodgson, as he has done all night from the Parramatta restarts, finding very good metres up the middle. That was hit up number 9 for the reserve. Ruben Wiki taken down by the much smaller Michael Witt. Terry Martin. Heavy body contact out in the centre. Wiki. And again. Wiki. Very strong, a low centre of gravity, hard to stop. Hodgson with his 2nd possession of the 6, and this is easy metres for the Raiders.
Yeah, a lot of space up the luxury zone, which the luxury zone is right behind the play of the ball. That's where the Eels are going. Newton will kick, but it will go dead in goal. But you're right about that, it's easy metres side.
Not only Vella, Hodgson and Dykes out through injury, late omissions from the Parramatta side. They are also missing Nathan Hindmarsh, Luke Burt, their captain Nathan Kalis, Paul Green and Alex Chan, so plenty of big name and impact players sitting on the sideline for the Eels. It has been a nightmare season. Witters lifted but not driven. Morris back at acting dummy half. Witt. Quick hands from both Wagon and Solomona. The second a poor ball. Continues from Witt to Violecki. Peterson on the fringe. Will test his pace. Was tackled nicely by the try scorer Joel Monahan.
6 to go for the Eels.
Safety first football. They need to get down into the 20-metre zone. They need to be next on the board. Daniel Wagon at acting half. Finds Morris at first receiver. Witters one wider. A knock on, an attempted intercept from Phil Graham.
Parramatta feet loose.
So the Eels, as you heard Stephen Clark said, Parramatta will get the feed, they will get the loose from the scrum, and effectively 6 more tackles again. We said it about Canberra in the opening 25, 30 minutes. They were prepared to play expansive football. They weren't prepared to do the work straight up the middle, and that's what we've seen from Parramatta there, taking the ball wide without doing the hard yards. Morris. Nice ball to Ashley Graham, timed his run to perfection. Jersey number 2, but playing fullback. And
Close, Marcus. Right up close and straight.
that is tackle 1. The Eels some 19 metres out from the try line. Post some much-needed points. They go through Heckenberg, who makes the best part of 7 metres. Witt Long ball to John Morris. David Solomona will be looking to get the hands free. You saw that left arm pop out in between the three Raiders players. Couldn't get the ball. Dunley inside to Morris, to Solomona. Extremely dangerous at this section of the field. Solomona with a beautiful ball to Daniel Wagon. Brought down just short. They go back to the right-hand side through John Morris. He is tackled. Parramatta have several ball players out there. He plays the ball to Dunley, who is one of them. Witt, a nice little chip through, looking for a try.
And just unfortunate for the Eels that Shane Dunley was about a metre offside.
Well, Shane Dunley fed him the ball from dummy half. That was the problem. He couldn't get back onside. He needed to have the kicker just...
As expected, denied the 4 points, the Parramatta Eels, much to the disgust of Brian Smith on the sideline. He has come down from the stands to monitor.
I don't think Brian Smith gets too upset these days. He's had a pretty tough year this year, but he's a seasoned coach, a professional coach, a career coach. Those sorts of things are just part of the game.
So the Raiders led off the hook by the barest of margins. Hodgson has been good all night. Woolford to Drew. Long ball to McLinden. Too wide of the ruck. Explosive off the mark. Mark McLinden spotting a gap in the Parramatta defence. And it was a knock on.
Gee, you're right about how quick he is. He just comes out of the blocks as quick as you like. And a pass you didn't want to see.
23 years of age, Mark McLinden, off contract at season's end. Cheer up, Matty. You're leading.
No, inside leg.
I don't think he likes...
Eels. The Raiders leading the line breaks appreciably, 6-1 over Parramatta. Struggling scoring points here in the national capital. Peake, who has been given a lot of attention from the Canberra big men in his limited time on the park tonight.
Raiders' defence has been good. Just one line break by the Parramatta Eels, a fair indication that the defence has been spot on by the Green Machine.
Nicely taken by Lilesi, scored in the opening minutes of the second half. Would dearly love to collect a double. Tackled 35 metres out from his own line. Shafovsky searching for some easy metres up the middle. He finds 10. Brad Drew almost running out of support on the right-hand side. Had Terry Martin there, opted to go himself. Tackled just his side of halfway. They looked at Tyron Smith running back into the markers. And Woolford. Good service to Mark McLinden all light. In turn to Jason Croker. Back to Ruben Wiki. This is tackle number 4. Tyron Smith. They are tossing it about the Raiders. It's paying dividends. Brad Drew, a chip ahead. Jason Croker is there to collect. Absolutely perfect. As their most experienced man and their top try scorer collects another for his resume.
Oh, who is going to catch Jason Croker, the try scoring? Here it comes. Here's where it starts off. And this is the razzle-dazzle stuff. They've got a comfortable lead. They lead by 18 points. And then the razzle-dazzle comes out. It was a ball off the deck by Ruben Wiki. Out the back door by Tyron Smith. Brad Drew. His impact has been sensational. I thought he could have passed it to Shafovsky. But Jason Croker backing up. Slams it down. Oh, they can't get beaten tonight.
Yeah, in the end, made the right decision, Brad Drew. Looked like he could have given it to Clint Shafovsky. Dean Witters covering Shafovsky. Put the little kick through.
And you would have backed Clinton Shafovsky over Jason Croker, Matthew Elliott, Terry Madison and co. Didn't care who forced downward pressure. And Jason Croker collecting career try 107. 2003 will hold some very fond memories for that veteran when he finally does hang up the boots. Most appearances for the Raiders, most tries for the Raiders, and is an integral part of their premiership campaign. Brian Smith has had better nights and has had better years.
You talk about Jason Croker, all those records, and he still has another year to go on his contract here at the Raiders. So those records almost unbeatable by the time he decides to hang the boots up.
Shafovsky to stretch the lead. 26 points to 4. Kicking at 75% both tonight and in season 2003. Again, all too easy for the fullback. He is the top scorer in the NRL
Form that put him on top.
Some variation in the kickoff from the Eels and flying high above the pack. Joel Monahan.
Hold him down.
And the penalty count just rises for the Eels, doesn't it? 10-1 at the moment. You just can't afford to give, well, 10 free sets of 6
And as
away to a side like the Raiders.
As a result, Greg, the possession is 60-40 percentage-wise in favour of Canberra, and that is on the back of the 10-1 penalty count, and we must be looking at a record. DeVico plays it to Woolford, hungry for more, the Raiders. Brad Drew, who has been brilliant since coming on, and if that's what he's going to do, he might end up starting a lot more games from the bench this year. They go to the left through McLinden. Tyron Smith, a nice wrap around. Again, another try. Phil Graham's in on the act. The lead out to 32-4. And the way they are going, they are looking at a half century.
Well, the first try in the second half came directly from a free kick, as did this try. The Parramatta Eels look like they're just hanging on. Brilliant little wrap around. Mark McLinden makes the extra man. Phil Graham runs a good outside in run, gets in between the Parramatta try in 28 games. That's some sort of strike rate.
Absolutely fabulous for a guy that has taken his fair share of intercepts over the last 18 months. But that one was just running the perfect angle and out-muscling your opposite man.
Yeah, Parramatta just can't afford to slide on their own try line. When you get a bloke running an outside in run like Phil Graham did, almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, you're right. The 3 defensive players got to him as he hit the line. And you've got to move up and off your line and put pressure on the ball carrier.
Shafovsky with arguably his most difficult assignment for the night. He started that one left, and it's the Canberra Raiders, and why not? They lead 32 points to 4 in a dominating performance. Huge kick from the Eels, and DeVico, first man, back into the line. Parramatta, it seems, will be stuck in 14th place on the competition ladder.
That is second last, I remind you.
After 13 rounds. They have made 6 successive final series since Brian Smith came to the club. 2003 is shaping as the first black mark on that resume for Smith and the Parramatta Eels. Ruben Wiki wrestling 4 or 5, getting the ball away to Shafovsky on the left-hand side. If it was a title fight, they would stop the contest. McLinden, a nice long boot down, finds Ashley Graham, almost catches him off guard, and despite the fact they're leading by 28, Greg, that kick chase line and the enthusiasm in it remains at 100%.
Well, that's the way they win football games. They're playing confident at the moment, the Raiders. The Eels really are, look, they're out in their feet. Look, they're in a bunch. They're only covering a third of the field. They do look gone at the moment, the Eels.
The Eels, well, I don't know if they're gone or it's the Raiders that are just in hot form. In the last 22 minutes, that's 8 minutes before half-time, and in the opening stanza of this second half, they've scored 6 tries. So I think it's more the Raiders that are on fire than perhaps the Parramatta, who are just dropping off their game.
Ian Hindmarsh, as we said earlier, one of 4 former Parramatta Eels in this Canberra lineup. Would love nothing more.
Eels, and only 7 for the Raiders.
Line breaks 8-1. You know, Canberra has had all the ball, and well, 8-1 the line breaks. No reason they lead comfortably 32 points to 4, and we're only midway through the second half.
For Canberra fans, this very much the appetizer. Next week, they host the Broncos here Many of their stars backing up from state of origin, and it will be a confident and fresh Raiders outfit. Monahan again leaping high to retain control of the ball. Tackle number 4, not 6 again as some in the crowd suggest. This is the 5th, 40 metres out. Goes to McLinden. Up she goes. It's an awkward one, perhaps taken late, was the kicker. Ronald Prince has a couple of goes at it.
Come on, Raiders, what are you doing? Let's go.
Maybe Commissioner Jim Hall might look at this as he gets that arm up.
Keep it in, Daniel.
The contact wasn't as severe as perhaps it could have been, but certainly the arms were up. It was the knock-on that resulted in Parramatta turning over possession again. Drew. Back to Shafovsky, off the hip of Ruben Wiki, calls Stephen Clark. Now that's high. Opting to once again go the 6 points. The Parramatta line not at 100%. Kylie Luluai in Disneyland down there at the moment. It goes to Tyron Smith, has scored one already tonight. It ends up in Matt Peterson's hands. And early in the tackle count, not the execution the Raiders would have been looking for. The possession flow most certainly in favour of Canberra. So too the territorial advantage. In fact, every statistic convincingly in favour of the Raiders, apart from the errors. They have made far more errors than their opposition tonight, but the Eels have been forced to pay for every error they have committed. Could this be another? The ball stripped out in a one-on-one tackle.
That's 0.
Kane led off the hook.
Bielecki's best run for this evening. Good hit. And Peterson, you can't deny Peterson's workload. He's there everywhere. He's getting back, he's covering, he's taking the ball up. We need some Parramatta forwards to do likewise.
Tackle number 4 for the Eels. Some variation from John Morris around the ruck, one-on-one. He finds Shane Dunley. Desperately tried to get the right arm free. Shafovsky wouldn't allow it, almost a loss of possession. They go to the left-hand side through Graham, who puts boot to ball. Looking for Matt Peterson, who would love it to collect a double. Jamal Alessi shadows the ball over the dead-in goal line, and it will be a repeat set for the Eels. Peterson's commitment certainly can't be questioned tonight, and some good communication between the fullback and the winger on that occasion.
Actually, yeah, it looked like it came off Matt Peterson's hand, didn't it? Jamal Alessi certainly doing very well to shadow that ball over.
To me, I called, it looked to me like you were shadowing the ball come off your chest. We're on the goal line, drop out here.
Some objections.
I think the Green Machine should forget about those sorts of things. They lead 32 points to 4. They've got more important things and bigger fish to fry. They've got to come away with a victory so they can keep themselves on top of the competition.
Adam Peake, who has been an absolute battering ram for Parramatta tonight. You almost get the feeling the Raiders' big men have enjoyed him running at them. They have tackled him in numbers and aggressively. Heckenberg hit up number 12. He leads the Parramatta forwards in that department. A nice ball from John Morris. Finds Lee Hopkins. They try to expose a weakness down the blind side. Peterson will collect a double. Peterson and Ruben Wiki combine perfectly from the junction. It had the distance. The compass is on for the Parramatta halfback with a well-earned rest for the guy that was originally named on the bench but started at lock forward tonight. His form has been great in 2003. Peake again. Bashed by DeVico and Wiki. Heckenberg receives similar treatment and they drive the big man back.
Good hit by O'Hara then. He was right at the forefront.
One of the couple of Raiders that could consider himself somewhat unlucky not to be playing next Wednesday night in Origin 1. Hopkins.
He'll consider himself unlucky if the Blues get beaten first time round.
Parramatta looking for some yards. They find it through Dunley. Tackle number 5. They're almost up to the 40-metre line. A Witt not looking for the 40-20 because it goes directly to and then past Clinton Schafowski at the back. A rare error of judgment. And a dominant tackle by the Parramatta Eels, Witt and Heckenberg affecting the down. The team disrupted by late withdrawals, as we've alluded to earlier, with Hodgson, Vella and Dykes, all 3 men named on Tuesday, pulled out of the side late in the week. Tackle number 4 for the Raiders, Drew just outside his 40. Ashley Graham showing plenty of urgency to get over to the ball, but Brad Drew took 1 step too many.
Set himself up.
Parramatta have failed to score in 6 of them. So down by 22 and convincingly beaten. And if the statistics are any indication, the Eels will struggle to find the line. And a horrible kick to boot. They would take the penalty back now if they could, not finding touch and affording the Raiders just too much field position and too much possession. McLinden, O'Hara, met by Crouch as the captain comes back on to see some action for the Raiders. Jason Croker is off as they again look to the left-hand side, and Phil Graham, who will collect a double. They are having a field day, the Raiders. It can't get any worse, it does. And Phil Graham, well deserved of a try. His 8th for the season. One of many Raiders to have played in every appearance so far this year, and the combinations are working beautifully.
Yeah, good ball by Mark McClendon. Had no right to score the try, just beat Willie Tonga with great footwork and able to pull Ronald Prince over the line with him. Willie Tonga had his man marked. Just a complete missed tackle. Ronald Prince not able to make the second grab and stop Phil Graham from scoring a try. Haven't the outside backs from the Canberra Raiders really been a revelation this year? It was the forwards that always looked strong for the Raiders, but their outside backs, there was a question mark over them. And those young players like Phil Graham, Michael Roberts.
Put the flags up again because that is another for Schafowski. Who perhaps by the fact he was looking at the Eels there might have been copping a little bit of lip from some of his former teammates. He will certainly enjoy the last laugh and the first beer tonight. Another former Eel, Brad Drew.
Well, the Eels have tries in that time.
Just over 10 minutes remain in the match, and already people are heading to the turnstiles here at Canberra Stadium. Some enthusiastic defence from the Eels, but those people heading to the turnstiles are mainly wearing blue and gold. Again, through the middle of the ruck go the Canberra Raiders. Monahan finding Lalessi on the left-hand side. Here goes Phil Graham.
He is a flyer.
No one in front, no one can catch, and that's a hat-trick for the centre three-quarter. They are playing with confidence, their execution is perfect, and the scoreline looks lovely. Modern-day coach, and he's got every reason to tonight. Looking every bit a premiership force.
Well, full length of the field. Ruben Wiki offloads to Joel Monahan. The Eels defence not really ready for a pass from Ruben Wiki right up in his own red zone. Jamal Lalessi linking with his winger and Phil Graham. Just genuine speed. With Phil Graham, the likes of Phil Graham, Mark McClendon, they have got genuine speedsters, the Raiders.
As soon as Joel Monahan just learns out how good he is, it's going to be scary. This man should have got the ball a little bit quicker. Probably one of the fastest men in the game right now. Super sort of stuff. He knows. His teammates are all pretty happy that he's on their side. They don't want to be chasing him. And I would say to you, if it hadn't already, that has certainly wrapped up this match well and truly in the Raiders' favour.
3 tonight, in fact, his second career hat-trick. He scored 22 tries in total in this, his 28th. First. looking for a personal tally of 12 was Clinton Schifofsky, and he has had plenty of practice from out wide tonight. They continue to rank as the Eels restart play again. The bounce of the ball going their way on this occasion. Dunley tackled some 36 metres out. The Eels recording their biggest win of the year last week over the Bunnies. That was 28-4. This, their biggest loss of the season. It is 44-10, and the Raiders have got the half century in their sights. Heckenberg has been tireless in a beaten and demoralised Eels side tonight. Witt, who was high on confidence last week, early in his career has stumbled again. Dunley, long ball. They go to the extreme and they find on the levels.
Got to keep the opposition trialists. That's one of the things they need to do if they want to perform in this year's playoff series. The Raiders think they're going to be there. I think they're going to be there. But certainly Matty Elliott wants them ready, and this is the games he'll use to get them ready.
Michael Witt steps in for what will be nothing more than a consolation 2 points. A couple of metres wide of the right upright, so the scoreline remains 40. Can be. They are functioning very well as a unit, this Canberra side. Maybe the non-selection in Origin suggests it is a team of workers and working for one another as opposed to a team of stars. Whatever the equation is, they are doing it very well.
Well, I've no doubt that Matty Elliott would have said to his charges that you're a bit stiff, fellas, but the only way he can get there is to get out and perform in front of the selectors again. That would have been part of the most motivational tool this week, no doubt about that.
Dunley has been good around the ruck area. Reaching down, Lee Hopkins picks the ball up well, an inside pass to David Violecki. There is nowhere to go for the centre three-quarter. And still, after 76 minutes, the enthusiasm is there for the Raiders. 3 men in the tackle and the line continues to move forward. The penalty count, an astounding 11-2 in favour of the home side as Witt clears the ball downfield. The Parramatta supporters and players, and probably the coaching staff, wishing the ball into touch, taking up another valuable 20 seconds. It has been a difficult night.
The Raiders would be happy if it was full time right now. While Parramatta, well, pride is the ultimate in season 2003.
This is the halfway point of the home and away series, round 13, and it could be a long 13 weeks for Brian Smith and his ample coaching staff as Ruben Wiki receives a handy applause from the Raiders faithful. He gets a well-earned rate. Martin, met well by Dunley and Peake. There's Wiki headed to the bench for the final time tonight. DeVico hit up number 15.
They throw in 14 tackles for DeVico. It's been a good game.
The charge down from Daniel Wagon ends up in the hands of Clinton Schifofsky. And 6 more for the Canberra Raiders, and Schifofsky, one of the best broken field runners in the NRL, has found Phil Graham, who himself is looking for 4. It is a foot race. Mark McLinden dummies one way, dummies the other, finds Jamal Alessi. That is magic from the Raiders. They're leading the competition and are going to give it an almighty shake in season 2003.
James Alessi, try number 2 for Alessi, and that was the pick of the tries of the night. Oh, it had everything. It had a little bit of change of pace, some trick passes, almost the length of the field run. Oh, yeah, the crowd should be standing up and applauding this one. Here's where it all started. Clinton Schifofsky brought the man inside, Phil Graham, and when he gets away, gets the Pistons pounding, it's hard to stop. You couldn't have found a better player than Mark McLinden. The flick out the back from McLinden. Alessi there on the last of the players, but Parramatta's defence just everywhere. It all came from here. Phil Graham put this one down. Phil, take a bow. It was you who got him there. McLinden threw the flick to finish it off. Parramatta's defence was just, well, non-existent. Alessi number 2 for the evening. Oh, Matty Elliott's delighted. Looks like they're going to crack the half-century mark here. Currently leading 48 points to 14 with a kick to come.
And this is in fact their biggest win of the season. 46-14 at Dairy Farmers. They're going to hit the half-century for the first time this year. And this is a side playing with a heap of confidence. Doesn't get any easier for Clinton Schafowski. Throws it over, and doesn't the look on their faces tell the story?
Well, up. Any side that can score 9 tries at this end of the competition, well, you know they're going to be somewhere around the end of the season unless the wheels completely fall off. Matty Elliott won't allow that to happen. Sensational performance by the Raiders.
Keeping in mind they were trailing 4 points to nil after the opening half hour of this contest. So since then they've been scoring at a point a minute for the remaining 50. Looking for one final long-range try. Lilesi is quite happy to take it out. It has been... They have been in a class of their own, the Canberra Raiders, in every facet. Russell Fairfax, they have dominated.
Doing their thing tonight, a great team combination.
They have matured as a unit and they are growing as a unit. We go down onto the pitch with Greg Alexander.
Clinton, great team performance to keep the Raiders on top of the comp.
It was terrific, wasn't it? That was some of the best football I've been involved with. Some of those tries, I can't wait to have a look at them on video. I reckon they'll be sensational.
And how good are some of those outside young backs? Phil Graham, just, you know, you can't, there's no substitute for blinding speed.
Definitely, you know, in the last 3 or 4 weeks we haven't held enough ball to give those guys a chance, and tonight we did that and they showed what they could do. It was terrific.
How much motivation was not being picked in the Queensland State of Origin side for you tonight?
Mate, honestly, none at all, mate. I'm happy to be here at Canberra and we're winning games. It'd be nice to be there, but, you know, there's games 2 and 3 and anything could happen, so you never know what might happen.
Thanks for your time. Well done, mate.
Clinton Schafowski, absolutely fabulous, but not amongst the try scorers. Phil Graham with 3, Jamal Lilesi with a double, Wolford, Smith, Monahan and Croker also crossing for 4. Peterson collected a double, and Lee Hopkins, the other try scorer for the Parramatta Eels. 50 points to 14. We are 2 fabulous night in the national capital for the competition leaders, the Canberra Raiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Next, we're off to Dairy Farmers.
With a new coach, a new training ground and new headquarters, the last 15 months have brought enormous change to the club. They also have a new administration and new owners, effectively the fans, through 5 licensed clubs.
You know, rugby league's a community-based game, and I think we went through a little phase where we forgot about that, and we're back. You know, and again, the change of administration only reinforced that perception. I didn't think that was necessarily a true perception, but it was the one that existed.
This was a game down at the capital last night where the Raiders took on the Eels, and I think it confirmed 2 things for most people, and that is that the Raiders are a genuine title force in this competition, and secondly that the Eels are in all sorts of trouble. It's been a fair come down for them over the last couple of years. The Raiders were absolutely sensational. It was a game that probably didn't warm up until about the 20 or 30 minute mark. Parramatta led early 4-0, but then this man Brad Drew came into the action, and from there it was just one-way traffic. The second half, the Raiders ran in try after try, and you can see from here the displays of skill. This was from the second tackle from a kick-off. And you see this in under 7s.
Wind up, you big unit.
You see this in under 7s, but the speed, and what's this fella? On the outside now.
Oh, is this Phil Graham?
This is Phil Graham.
Pick him up, bang him down.
He scored 3 tries and was absolutely scintillating down that left-hand side. Schafowski played well again. Here he goes again, Graham. They've got tremendous speed. They all back up very, very well. But I've got to say, I have never seen this before. The Eels, sorry. Well, they virtually lost heart in the second half. They gave it away. Yeah. Well, it's a big call.
And what a difference a year can make. And this year they're going gangbusters. And Tim Sheridan's done some quality work for us. But this is as good as it gets. This is Canberra on the rise to the top.
It looked more like a toddler's birthday, and indeed it was a milestone for the man-child they call Toots. The Raiders now have personal sponsors queuing up. And Conacher organised this family-friendly little bash out of respect for Jason Croker's 245th game.
You getting a present today or not?
I think I'm getting one of these big photocopiers here, so I'm looking forward to that.
Useful at home?
Short of duplicating Canberra's longest-serving warhorse, the Raiders have done the next best thing. They're back on top, right where they were when Jason started.
Are you surprised about this year?
A little bit. I must admit, yeah. Well, they're still a young team, a lot of them. We're delighted.
Then they kick ahead, Robinson and Peachy in a race with Matthew Reek. Oh, Reek! Did Reek force the ball or did Canberra? Did Canberra's Robinson? Did he get a hand to it?
Undefeated after 8 rounds and still sailing along in front, they are the Boltons from the blue at the top of the NRL table, and yet to be given full credit for it.
Would you like to think that by the end of the season we're going to be taking it very seriously?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, what we've achieved so far, I think we can continue on the way we have. You know, and the longer the season goes on, you know, there's got to be some people taking us seriously. I mean, in Canberra, you know, we know what we're doing, we know what we're capable of, and the Canberra public are right behind us, and the Canberra media for that matter as well. But we've still got a little way to go before we can change the ways of media elsewhere.
The Raiders may well be innocent victims of our tendency to get a bit cynical when those in Canberra start to talk about success. If that's the case, then it's hardly fair on the club. This is one of those success stories that surprises everyone except those close to it, and there's not a spin doctor in sight.
With a new coach, a new training ground and new headquarters, the last 15 months have brought enormous change to the club. They also have a new administration and new owners, effectively the fans, through 5 licensed clubs.
You know, rugby league's a community-based game, and I think we went through a little phase where we forgot about that, and we're back. You know, and again, the change of administration only reinforced that perception. I didn't think that was necessarily a true perception, but it was the one that existed.
Stretchered off nearby Bruce Stadium 10 years ago with a career-ending knee injury, Matt Elliott was a winning coach in the UK before returning home. Heading the table and supplying no Origin players, he could feel snubbed, lucky, or a bit of both.
It's a 3-game series. They're going into the first game. We don't have any players going into the first game, but I'm quite sure that one of those teams, whether blue or maroon, are going to lose on Wednesday, and there may be some changes, and I'd like to think that when those changes are brought into place, there might be some players from this organisation get a shot at it.
And he's put it straight down to Zhivovsky.
In spectacular form, goal-kicking fullback Clint Shivkovsky missed out, but there was still love from north of the Tweed.
Wayne Bennett actually gave me a call and said, you know, it's got nothing to do with my form, you know, it's just the way he wanted to go, and I can understand that, so it was good to hear that he said, you know, I was obviously playing well enough, but, you know, we spoke before and you said it's a long series and you never know what could happen.
Going for that right-hand corner again with the bomb, and he's over again. Zhivovsky's over again.
Undeniably a mighty talent, this miner's son from central Queensland admits he might have lacked a bit of maturity in the first half of his career. But Clint has finally found what he needs at Canberra.
Once you start to get a bit older, you realise that it's coming to an end. I've probably got 3 or 4 good years left in me yet, but you know, I really want to enjoy it. And we spoke about at the start of the season, a lot of blokes go through their careers without having that success, and I think we're on the edge of something here at Canberra, and we've got a few older guys, a bit older than me actually, that want that success as well, so it's a driving force for a lot of us, I think.
Say Raiders! Louder, get Raiders! The tackle! 6 back. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now go.
Kobe already shows his dad's talent. With another child on the way, the Shivkovskys would only move if Canberra did.
If Canberra was in Queensland, I'd be very happy.
He's starting a family here, and he's got a great deal to be proud of, both of what he does on the field, his treatment of fans, and his work in the community just oozes respect. Clinton's one of the few special players that we've got here.
The green machine of nearly a decade ago appears to be back on the road. Yet to be seen is whether this new model can go the distance.
And I will admit